Right, good evening and welcome back to a brand new episode of Ads Metal Detecting. I'm Ads, and on today's episode we are in Weston. We're not far away from Gosberton and Spalding and all those places where we come with digging history. It's a brand new field. No, we haven't been on it as a group. I'm not 100% sure whether anybody's been on it. There obviously will be over time people have been on here, but it's brand new land to the group, so that is fantastic. Can't wait to get on it. I don't know much of the history. I'd like to tell you that there's Roman roads running through it, and I'd love to tell you that there's a medieval moated site somewhere near, but when I looked there wasn't much. So, you know, that's one of those days where we can just walk around and see what we find. I'm on the hunt for a full hammered. I need to get rid of this big beard because I resemble a little bit like a homeless man at the moment, but I'm not shaving it off till I find a full one. It won't be completely going obviously, but we'll trim that back. As always, we are sponsored by Dragon Detecting, so for all your detector needs, that's their logo there. The link will be in the description, and you can use our code, which is AMD10, to get you 10% off most items there. You can also look in the description for 10% off at Relics MD and use the same code, which is AMD10. We are with Digging History, so that's their logo there, and all the details to follow them and get onto the Facebook group to come on digs in South Lincolnshire with them are just there. If you've got this far though and you haven't subscribed, please do me a massive favour and hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely totally free to you. You get to see the latest videos, and it really helps my channel grow. The more subscribers, the more people it puts it in front of. More subscribers come on board, it puts it in front of more people, and therefore we get more viewers, and it just helps me grow the channel and carry on doing content for you guys to watch on a weekly basis. So let's get going and let's see you the first hole. It's very windy. We're onto our coin. It is just there. I can see it just there. So I apologise for the wind, but 76, 77. Pick it up just there. That's what we found. Let's give it a good clean up, switch cameras, and have a look. There we go. Unfortunately, there's nothing much discernible on it, but it's his first find in an area where Roman are coming up. This obviously isn't Roman, but we will let it dry out and see if we can get anything off that for later. But coin's a coin, on to the first one, and let's keep going. Right guys, everybody else has been finding the Romans here. We've come down here, just there. I think we're onto a little Roman. You see it? 35, 36, 37. Bring it up now. And there we go. We'll have a quick look at that. See what we've got. There we go. Don't want to spray it too much. Don't know what details we'll get off that. But that is definitely a Roman coin. Let's have a careful clean up and we'll see what we've got. Right guys, I don't want to clean up too much more. It's not the greatest of condition. We're going to let it dry out. We're going to catch it in the roundup, but we're onto a Roman coin. So that's absolutely fantastic. Let's keep going. Just there. If you look at numbers 67, 68, and we go down, switch, and we can see there a little shield there. Let's get it clean up and see if we can make out what we've got on there. But we're on to silver. go, you can just see the bust there. So we'll have a look at that. Just there's the shield in across. We'll have a look and we'll see what we've got. So I think you can just make out the bust there. I think we've got a William, and that's a sixpence just there. That is amazing. We're on to silver, Roman, plenty of stuff coming up round me, hammered as well, but we're on to silver for the day. So let's get some pictures and on to the next. Alright guys, another signal there, 35, 36, big strong signal. Wasn't expecting another Roman, but we're on hammered and we are on a full one, so I can have a shave. So that's absolutely amazing. So let's get a good clean up on this, we'll see what we've got. So, little Edward penny, you can see it down there, it's come up really nice, good condition. You can see there we've got Edward just round that side, and on the back, little long cross, and then we've got Civitas London, so it's a London mint. So that is amazing. We're on to an hammered. There's about 10, maybe 15 Roman come up now, lots are hammered in this area, so it's an amazing dig today. Look at that, absolutely stunning. I'm going to catch her, my wife's 2 Roman that she's found. But there we go, I can now have a shave. Get in there. Just catching up with my wife, and you'll see she's got a fines pot here. This is the lucky fines pots, and we've got 1 Roman there. Let me switch over. We've got 1 Roman just there, and the other one that come up just there. Big fat Roman. That might clean up really nice. And this one as well, which you can see will clean up, and we'll get some more off that. Then we've got a modern 2p to go with them, and a 5p. So we've got some real age on this field. We've got medieval hammered, Roman, modern, and even to go with that little sheep tag or cow tag or whatever it is just there. I think there's around about 20 Romans come up. But if you see anybody with one of these pots, ask them what they've got, because I bet they've got an absolute ton of stuff. But we're only early in the day, we're going to carry on, see what else this field gives out. See it just there, I'll show you there. 77, 78, 79. It's a button. And we have a bit of detail on, which, as you know, we don't normally get. A little bit of gilding on there as well. Let's have a little clean and see what we see. If you can hear this wind, I do apologise. It is very windy in Lincolnshire, which is not much different. There we go, we are all cleaned up. You can just see that design on there going through, a little gilding just on there. Nothing much onto the back, but it's a button with design which we don't normally get. So there we go. On to the next. Another target just here. 28s, 29s. It's just this little bit. You can see a little design on there. Just going to have a little clean up, see what we can see. Right, that's as much as I can clean up on here. You can see that little design just behind there. I'm not sure what this is. It looks like a little bit of a cat badge, but that design looks much older. It's very thin. There might be something on the back there as well, but it could be the imprint of the press. This bit goes up just here. But I'm not 100% sure what that is. I don't think there's writing around the outside, although there could be. But if you can spot something on there, I think it's a cat badge. I think there was something else that goes down here. But if you're any different, you give me a shout, put it in the comments. Let's get moving and on to the next. Another little signal down here. 38, 39, 41. It's just this little thing. Switch over, and there we go. But you can see it looks like some material still in there, and the two hooks that clasped around it. Well, let's have a little clean up, see what we've got. So there we go. That's what's come up. There's something on there. Not sure how old this is. I wouldn't have thought too old, but you can see where it just comes through there. The bit's missing, and I'm guessing this is leather, but the leather's attached, which is absolutely amazing. And I'm not sure what period this would be from, whether it would be Victorian or Georgian. There is a little design on there. Let me just have a quick brush up and just see whether we can get anything off there. I wouldn't have thought the material would have lasted if it was much older than that. It'd be very, very strange for it to. But we've got a little belt mount. Little soft brush. There we go. There was some design on there. You see, just there, we've got some design on there, and then this leather that's attached through it. Well, that's very, very cool. You don't normally find it with the material like that. Age wise, I don't think it would be that old. Looking at it, just trying to see whether we can see some kind of design on there. We can see something. What it is, I don't know. But that's a lovely little find on a great day's detecting. Let's carry on. To 66 ranging through. I can see it just there. I think we've got a button just there, look. You can see the shank just coming, so I thought we'd turn it on and we'll see what comes out. There we go. It's a very odd looking button. We're going to give it a quick clean up because I can see something on there. Let's have a look. We're not going to get anything off of that. There is a little bit of a design there just behind, if you can see. But that's an odd shaped flange. On to the next. I'm just with my wife now. She's just had a little cut off. You can see there, it's a voided long cross. Some lovely detail on it. Nice Henry III. Just there. That's absolutely amazing. Look at that, look at the detail on that. That would have been an amazing full one. But it's another hammered. Let's get some pictures. See what else. Right, onto the roundup. This is my wife's finds. This lovely big piece of bronze pot just here. Would have had something on it, but that's corroded away. And then we move on to the pot. These are the lucky pots. You see what I mean? Lucky pots. So we've got a bit of a pot mend just here. You'll see where it would have fitted in just there. A little bag seal just here. Don't think we're going to get much off that. But a little bag seal. And then this is a sheep tag, number 63. So if you've lost your sheep, we have its tag. Just there, look. Little watch winder. Just there. There's not much detail on it. We've got this little ridged bit around here. It's a little watch winder. Really heavy. And then we move on to the coins. So we've got modern 5p and a modern 2p. Then we've got a, what is this one? Is it a George farthing? There we go, little George farthing. And then we move on to these Romans. Now, they're not going to look the prettiest because you're not going to see much detail on it, but that is a Roman coin. We're going to do some more cleaning up on these when we get back, so you're not going to see much detail, but that is a nice thick chunky Roman coin, and there was about 20 that came up and they were all this size. And then we move on to the big one just there. Now we may get some detail off of that once it's had its cleanup done. It's a big Cistercian, absolutely humongous. It's an amazing find. And then to top it off, just here, a little cut half, which you will have seen, which is a voided long cross just there. It's Henry III. So that's those. So let's just put those to one side for a second and move on to these ones. So these are my finds. So we have this one here, which is got a little bit of design on. Now if you know what that is, give me a shout, because I'm not 100% sure. We've got design just there and we've got design on the back. It is something, but what it is I have no idea. If you were to take that bit out, you'd say it resembles a little bit of a coin, because there's little bits of design around this bit as well. But we've got this fixture just here. Is it off a fancy watch winder? Is it a cap badge? Is it just a piece of decoration? If you know, give me a shout. Let me know what that is. Then we've got this little bit as well. A little bit of something, but I've no idea. Just there. Not a clue whether that is off some modern machinery, whether it dropped something in, what that would be. There is no detail on it as far as I can see, but it's interesting. And then we're going to move on to this one here. It's a little belt mount. We've got some design behind there, and again, this will need cleaning. Now I'm not for a second suggesting this is Roman, but this came up where all the Roman coins were coming up, but I'm not sure what age is that, what age that one is. It is fairly crudely made, but that might be the corrosion. But what's interesting is the leather is still there, which is absolutely insane to me, because normally all this stuff is missing, but we've got a piece of leather there. So I'd love for somebody to be able to tell me what sort of period that's from, so we can see how old that piece of clothing is. But that is one of my favourite finds today. It's absolutely amazing just to have that like that. Brilliant. You'll have seen this fancy little button that came off, a little bit of gilding on there, and then the little design work on there. Then what have we got? We have this here, which we've let dry off, and you'll see that I think that, if I'm not mistaken, is a George II halfpenny. There we go. You can just see the bust coming through. It is heavily corroded. We can just see that coming through to make out what that is. Then we move on to the Roman, where we can see a little bit of design, and I'm not sure how much design we're going to get off it. Like many of the coins that have come up today, they are rough, and that's just the stuff that's put into the ground that causes the corrosion and eats away at them. But we have got some design on there that I can see. So it'll be interesting to see if we get something off there. But that is another Roman. That's 3. Then we've got this one, which if I spin it this way, it's a William III sixpence. Better design on the back, just there. But it's lovely to find that, especially because normally these are rubbed completely. So that is absolutely fantastic. You see all the detail on that back just there. And then to top things off, there we go, a little Eddie penny. It's a London Mint, some really lovely detail, a nice full one, and that means I can have a shave. So the beard will be cut back drastically because I'm starting to resemble a little bit like a homeless man. So that's the roundup. I'm going to switch around and then we're going to do the outro. So I'll see you in a second. Right guys, that has finished, and this big beard is going to be trimmed back by the next time you see me. Full hammered, little bit clipped, but I'm taking it, and this will be trimmed back so I don't look like a homeless man. It's been an absolutely fantastic day, full finds pots, cannot complain at all, a bit of everything. We've got the hammered, we have, so there's a Edward penny, there is the Henry III cut half, we've got 3 Roman, a bit more modern coinage, George II, George, I think it was George V, don't quote me on that, and some other little bits and pieces. My favourite find though was that little belt mount. It was absolutely fantastic to find that left, because normally all that stuff that it's attached to, that goes, and all you're left with is just the mount, and the clips are normally broke off too. So to have all that intact with a little bit of clothing in the back, that's absolutely amazing. That is my favourite find, which sounds crazy when we found Hammards and Romans, but that is my favourite find. It's absolutely fantastic. We're not going to go through all the links and everything. What we're going to do is tell you that they're all in the description. So Dragon Detecting, you 10% off, and all the details there are below. The same for Relics MD, my merchandise, the link for Digging History. But the only one thing I will say is, if you have got this far and you've enjoyed watching it, please subscribe, because it really does help my channel grow, and we're heading towards that 1,000 mark, and that will be the next giveaway, which will be bigger than the last one, which was absolutely crazy, for a 500 giveaway. So heading towards that 1,000. I've been Ads. Oh no, what do I say? That's it for another episode of Ads Metal Detecting. I've been Ads. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.